Good morning. Today's story is Baby Unicorn and Baby Dragon, and it is by Jean and Claudio Marzollo, illustrated by Kimberly Bulken Root. Here we go. Once upon a time, in a magic forest, there lived a baby unicorn called Star because of a little white star on her forehead. Star's favorite game was hide and seek, which she often played with a baby dragon named Moon. One morning, Moon hid so well that Star couldn't find him anywhere. Finally, she ran to the meadow, thinking that maybe her friend might be hiding in the daisies. Moon was in the meadow, but he was not hiding. He was sitting on a rock in plain sight, and he was crying. Are you hurt? Asked Star. Moon wiped his eyes and told her what happened. I was hiding in the grass when Smokey and Flame came by. They teased me because I haven't grown my wings yet. They're younger than I am, but their wings are huge. Star touched her friend lightly with her horn. I know how you feel, she said. Once I was the only unicorn without a horn. I had to be brave before it could grow. Even now, I'm not sure how to use its magic powers. Mother said that the braver I am, the more powerful I'll be. She also said that if I'm brave, my horn will tell me what to do. Maybe if I'm brave, my wings will grow, said Moon. Maybe we could be brave together. But how? What could we do? Let's ask Old Greenie, said Star. Old Greenie was an enormous, ancient dragon who lived in a damp, mossy cave. Every time she left her cave, she scraped moss on her head, which is why she was called Old Greenie. Star and Moon found Old Greenie breathing fire furiously. That nasty, selfish little elf, she was muttering. If I were younger, I'd show him a thing or two. What happened? Asked Star. Wicked elf stole my last tooth, said Old Greenie, blasting fire into the air. It was so loose that he was able to grab it while I was sleeping. But I thought he only stole the king's rubies, said Moon. He usually does, said Old Greenie, and he grinds them into ruby glitter for his one and only magic trick, turning animals into frogs. Stupid elf. He must think by adding dragon tooth powder to ruby glitter, he'll be able to do more powerful tricks. But it wouldn't work. The only powder that would help him is powdered unicorn horn. Dear me, Star, I'm sorry if I scared you. Star's mother had warned her that Wicked Elf might try to steal her horn someday. They thought of him grinding it into powder filled her with dread. Let's talk about something else, said Old Granny. Tell me, why did you two come to see me? We had a question, said Moon, but you've already answered it. Thank you. And with that, Moon turned and ran down the path to Wicked Elf's castle. This is Old Greenie. All right, here we go. Stop, stop, called Star, chasing after him. What are you doing? I'm going to be brave and get Old Greenie's tooth back, he yelled. You can't do that, shouted Star. Wicked Elf is too dangerous. He could steal my horn. Don't come, shouted Moon. I'll go alone. Star wanted to stop, but she couldn't let her friend go to Wicked Elf's castle alone. What if Wicked Elf turned Moon into a frog? Wait, yelled Star. I'll go with you if you stop at the king's dump first. I need something to protect my horn. Moon and Star ran to the back of the king's palace, where the king threw out his old clothes and rusty armor. Star poked her horn around in the rubbish and came up with a handsome, old leather boot marked with the emblem of the king. It fit her horn perfectly. I'm coming, she cried, dashing after Moon, who was already back on the path. See the boot? Boot on her horn? See how that works out. The path ended at a small wooden hut with the name W. Elf on the door. Not very fancy, is it? Whispered Star. She ducked behind a bush and held still as Wicked Elf came out. He was holding an empty cloth sack. Grand haul this morning, he said, walking past Star and Moon without seeing them. This afternoon, I'll steal some rubies, come back to eat supper, and then grind up that old dragon's tooth. Star and Moon waited until he was out of sight. Then they crept up to the little hut and pushed open the door. Inside, there was nothing but a dusty, dirty floor. Some castle, said Moon. Wait, my horn is tingling, said Star, dropping her boot. She tapped the ground with her horn in several places. There, she said, scraping dirt away from a small red handle. Moon pulled the handle with his teeth and drew up a secret trap door. Through the opening, Star and Moon saw an underground storeroom filled with piles of rubies. Sitting on the nearest pile was old Greeny's tooth. Watch how brave I am now, said Moon, squeezing through the hole. He grabbed the tooth and climbed back out of the hole, but as he did, a cloud of pink glitter fell upon him. Star tried to brush it off with her horn, but it stuck to Moon and her horn too. Put your boot on, said Moon. This glitter could be dangerous. As soon as we get home, we'll wash it off. Moon raced down the path and Star ran after him. She had a hard time keeping up. Moon, stop, she finally cried. The boot is too heavy and my legs feel weak. I have to rest. We can't stop, said Moon. Hey, what are you doing? Star flipped the boot into a bush and collapsed under a tree by the side of the path. Within seconds, she was sound asleep. Terrified, Moon sat down beside her and wrapped his arm around old Greeny's tooth. I'll let you sleep, but only for 10 minutes, he said, and then he yawned. Time passed. Star dreamed something was wrong and woke up. Where was she? Why did her head feel funny? Moon, she cried, wake up! Moon jumped to his feet and shouted, What happened? Immediately he knew the worst had happened. Old Greeny's tooth was gone, and so was Star's horn. Wicked Elf stole my horn while I was sleeping, cried Star. Now I have no magic. What will we do? No matter how brave he wanted to be, Moon couldn't stop big, hot dragon tears from running down his cheeks. Don't cry, said Star. We might not have magic, but we have our brains and, she added, looking at the bushes, one leather boot. She set the boot in the middle of the path and said, I have an idea. It's supper time. Wicked Elf should be coming along that path any minute. Let's hide and watch what he does when he sees the king's boot. Star and Moon waited, and sure enough, soon Wicked Elf appeared, bent under a full sack. One side had something sharp and pointy sticking out of it. My horn, whispered Star. The other side had something tooth-shaped sticking out of it. Old Greeny's tooth, whispered Moon. Look! Wicked Elf stopped at the boot. Noticing how handsome it was, he picked it up and stroked the emblem of the king. This must be my lucky day, he said greedily. A dragon's tooth, a unicorn's horn, and now a king's boot? But where's the other one? Wicked Elf looked around. I can't wear just one boot, he said, throwing down the boot and going on his way. After he'd gone, Star said, Moon, take the boot and run through the forest until you're ahead of Wicked Elf. Put the boot in the path so he'll find it again. Wicked Elf will think it's the other boot. If he's as greedy as I think he is, he'll put down his sack and come back to find the first boot. When he does, grab his sack and bring it back to me. Good plan, said Moon, feeling wonderfully brave again. Moon ran through the trees wickedly and quietly, making a wide circle so that Wicked Elf didn't see or hear him. Moon set the booth on the path ahead of Wicked Elf, hid in the trees, and watched. When Wicked Elf came up the path, he saw the boot and shouted, "Oh, there's the other boot! Oh, good! Now I'll have to go back and get the first one. But I'm not carrying this heavy sack with me." Wicked Elf hid his sack behind a tree and started back down the path. When he was out of sight, Moon picked up the sack and ran through the forest to the place where Star was waiting. But Star was not there. Instead, Wicked Elf sat on a rock and grinned. In his hand, he dangled a little pink frog with a star on her forehead. Moon was so scared he started to cry again. "Bring me my snack, you sniveling little baby dragon," said Wicked Elf, "or I'll turn you into another pink frog for dessert." "You can have your sack," said Moon, "but not until you change that frog back into Star." His strong words helped him stop crying and gave him an idea. Moon started to cry again, but this time he was faking. The more Moon cried, the more Wicked Elf laughed. Wicked Elf laughed so hard that he didn't notice Moon slip his hand into the sack and grab Star's horn. But Star noticed. With a sudden wiggle and twist, she burst out of Wicked Elf's grasp and hopped over to Moon. Quick as can be, he touched the horn to her forehead, and Star became a unicorn again. Wicked Elf was furious. "I'll turn you both into frogs," he cried. He grabbed a handful of pink glitter from his pocket and threw it into the air. Star flashed her horn at the glitter and made it disappear. "I don't think so," she said. "My horn is telling me that I can turn you into a snail if I want to." Wicked Elf stamped his feet. "I'll get back at you," he shouted. "Or a worm," said Star, taking a step closer to him. "Keep your old dragons too," said Wicked Elf, running away. "And as for the rubies, I have more at home." Star and Moon laughed with relief while they watched him disappear from sight. But after a while, Moon stopped laughing and looked very sad. "What's the matter?" asked Star. "You have more power than ever because you were brave," said Moon. "But I don't have wings because I'm not brave. I cry too much." "But you were very brave," said Star. "If you hadn't put my horn back on my head, I'd be in Wicked Elf's stomach right now." Suddenly, Star noticed little things like leaves growing out of Moon's shoulders. "Moon, I think you are growing wings after all. Can you feel them?" Moon couldn't believe what Star was saying. Yet he did feel something tickling his shoulder blades. And when he wiggled certain muscles, his body seemed to lift from the ground. "That's it!" cried Star. "Keep flapping. You'll fly." "Why are my wings growing even though I couldn't stop crying?" "Because crying has nothing to do with bravery," said Star. "You can cry and be brave at the same time." The more Moon flapped, the more his wings grew, and the higher he rose from the ground. "Take old Greenie's tooth back to her," called Star, tossing him Wicked Elf's sack. Star ran through the woods and reached old Greenie's cave just in time to see Moon's first landing. First on a tree, and then into some blueberry bushes. Old Greenie watched her tooth pop out of the sack. Opening her mouth wide, she caught the tooth in midair and flashed everyone a hot, happy, one-toothed grin. Star was happy too, for many reasons. She had helped old Greenie get her tooth back. She had watched her best friend grow wings, and she had learned more about her magical horn. Best of all, she learned that she didn't have to be so afraid of losing her horn anymore. Now she knew that if she couldn't use her magic, she could always use her brains. The end. I hope you enjoyed our story today. Bye.